Hello, my name is Alejandra Espinosa, and this is my critical race narrative video. The racial identity development theory of Module 2 provided me with a lens to explore my own journey. My racial identity as a Mexican woman is shaped by the intersection of culture, history, social expectations, and personal experiences. From early childhood to adulthood, my awareness of my racial identity was shaped by a series of realizations, whether through interactions with others, encounters with racism, or statements of culture pride. As I grew older, my racial identity evolved, but it will always be a key part of how I navigate the world, relate to others, and understand myself within society. One experience that reminded me of social disparities occurred last year as I worked as a case manager for a nonprofit. Last year, I was housing one of my clients into an affordable housing unit located in Fresno. My coworker and I were helping the client move in some of his belongings from the company van into his apartment, in which we had to pass some parked cars on the way to the client's apartment. A white woman who happened to be a worker and a former partner agency. A worker from a partner agency then screams at us and yells as we are passing the cars. "You stupid wetbags. You guys better have not touched my car." At this moment, I didn't know how to react, since I was in shock by the words that came out of her mouth. I felt excluded and discriminated against based on my racial identity. At the same time, I was frustrated and confused, but it also opened my eyes into the existence of structural inequalities. My experience occurred in my young adulthood at from ages 18 to 25, in which I was 23, which places me in the Erikson psychosocial development stage of intimacy. Intimacy versus isolation. In young adulthood, institutionalized racism may affect a person's ability to engage in a meaningful and trusting relationship. If racism is experienced in professional or academic settings, it can contribute to feelings of isolation or lack of connection. Intimate bonds are formed at this stage, and ongoing racism can make it difficult for people to relate to others in a deep level, specifically if they constantly feel singled out or rejected by their own racial background. Applying critical race theory. We understand that racism is not just an individual experience, but a deep-rooted structural problem. To address racial inequality, it is critically important to advocate for policies and actions that address systematic disparities. If I were to reflect on my personal experience of institutional racism, my response would likely be orientated to addressing the larger power structures at play, supporting systematic change, and standing in solidarity with those affected. By recognizing power dynamics and advocating for structural reforms, I can work to break down the systems that continue to proliferate racial inequality. According to Kowalski, Weber, and Constance Hudgens 2014, finally applying critical race theory to social work practice provides an opportunity to bolster the profession community to social justice. Social workers have the ethic obligation to clients, colleagues, themselves, and the professional broader society to change injustice and pursue social change, meaning that us as social workers, we have this responsibility to speak up when we hear or see any systematic disparities. For me, I would have loved if someone would have stepped in and advocated for me while that white woman was calling me those racial remarks. Now I know that was her being discriminatory against me. And I really wish someone would have stepped up and protected me and told me that everything was going to be fine in that moment. Thank you.